Hello everyone, welcome to today's show. I am your old friend Li Muyang. Friends, if you have been paying attention to job news in China lately, you might have noticed a reality that feels more and more crazy and painful. On one side, lots of people in their early 30s or around 40 are being thrown out of their jobs without mercy. On the other side, the government is loudly encouraging older people to retire but not stop and keep working and give their light and heat. To put it simply, 40-year-olds are not wanted anymore, but 60-year-olds have to keep going. Recently, Shanghai's Civil Affairs Bureau and 28 other departments together put out a document called Plan to Build a Support System for Older People's Social Participation and Push Old People Have Something to Do. The paper says they want to encourage and support older people in every way to join in the country's growth and use their experience to help with the so-called silver hair power. Shanghai's official media also explained the policy, saying that when older people retire but keep working, it makes their own lives richer and also helps fix the shortage of workers in some areas. This way of talking sounds nice and even a bit warm. But the biggest and most obvious problem in Chinese society today is not there are no people to work. It is that more and more people want to work, but there are fewer and fewer jobs for them. If a man around 40, who is at the stage of life with the heaviest pressure, sees this news, his first thought is probably not feeling moved. It is probably a cold feeling in his heart. I have not even reached retirement age yet, and the job market is already kicking me out. Now you are telling me that when I really reach retirement age, I still have to go out and keep working. This is not old people have something to do. It feels more like old people are forced to do it. A New York Times Chinese website report on March 23rd tore open the real situation of middle-aged people in China today. 55-year-old Harry Guo used to be what many Chinese people would call a success story. He was born in 1971 and grew up in the best time of China's opening up and reforms. He taught himself computer skills, worked in foreign companies, and later in big internet companies. His pay was good. By the time he was in his 40s, he had joined the middle class. He and his wife paid off the loans for 2 houses early. They sent their daughter to high school and college in Canada. According to the old Chinese story of the last few decades, this kind of life was the perfect example of if you work hard, you get rewards. But then he got laid off. Now he is 55 and has not found a job for more than 2 years. It is not because he did not try. He went to the supermarket near his home to ask for a cashier job, but they said straight out they do not hire anyone over 50. He asked about warehouse work and got turned down. A friend who runs a small business told him with some embarrassment, "At your age, I really cannot use you." Notice this. Harry Guo is not without skills. He is not afraid of hard work. He is not lazy. His only problem is one thing. He got old. When he went to the government service center to sign up for unemployment, they put him in a WeChat group called 4050. This is a term with a cold feeling from the times. It means unemployed women over 40 and unemployed men over 50. In his small neighborhood of about 1,000 families, this group grew from just 4 people to 86 people in a little over a year. That means more and more people in the second half of their lives suddenly found out they have become extra people in the job market. Harry Guo helplessly mentioned a joke that spreads on social media. Your career dies at 40 and all that's left is waiting to be buried. He said that at 55 he already feels buried. These words sound sharp, but what is sharper is that it is hard to argue against them. Because age discrimination in China's job market today is not just a few cases. It has become open and normal. Many companies act like once you pass 35, a white-collar worker is no longer an asset but a burden. A job posting from a company in Chongqing is a typical example. Customer service jobs limit to 30 years old. Bank call centers limit to under 35. Semiconductor factory limits to 30. Warehouse sorting limits to 45. You think after working for more than 10 years, you have built up experience, connections, and skills. But in the end, you find out that on the job page, those things are worth less than the words under 35. What is even more cruel is that the people thrown out first are not the ones who did not try hard. They are the ones who believed most strongly that hard work changes your life and who followed the social rules most seriously. They once believed that if you do not cause trouble, if you are willing to eat bitterness and push forward, life will get better every year. They were the first generation in their families to go to college, the first to buy houses, the first to send kids abroad. In some way, they were the generation that believed most in the dream of work hard, move up, make life better. But now that dream is breaking into pieces right on them. Another man, Mr. Ma, has a typical story too. He worked as a reporter and editor at a provincial TV and radio station for more than 20 years. In 2003, he moved from Inner Mongolia to Shanghai. He was part of the group of people who left their home provinces to chase chances in big cities and become new Shanghai people. At his best time, he and his wife together made about 500,000 yuan a year. They bought a car, got a bigger house, and raised 2 daughters. Life was busy, but the feeling of moving upward was real. Later, the industry got bad. Starting around 2018, advertising money for TV and radio started to dry up. The work got heavier, but pay did not go up, it went down. In 2022, he was diagnosed with a blood disease and needed a bone marrow transplant. The doctor told him to rest for a long time, but he heard the company was doing restructuring and was afraid that if he rested, he would be pushed aside. So he went back to work early. What happened? In the end, he still lost his job. On December 31st, 2024, he recorded the last show of his career. Now he only gets about 2,000 yuan a month in unemployment money. When he applies for jobs in audio editing or news, he gets almost no answers. 47-year-old Mr. Ma said, "Once a person passes a certain age, they become invisible. What you did before or what you know does not matter anymore." That sentence really hits the heart, because this pain is not just lower income or losing the job itself. It is a deeper feeling of shame. Your 20 years of hard work suddenly becomes worthless in the eyes of the market. It is not that you slowly step back. It is that you get kicked out early. The whole system quietly tells you, you have expired. If Harry Guo and Mr. Ma stand for the fall of the reform generation, then a 38-year-old man with 2 master's degrees, who studied abroad in Shanghai, shows us another even stronger reality. Middle-class people falling back into poverty. This man appeared on a self-media channel and is called Teacher Yan. He used to run an education and training business in Shanghai. He lived in the rich area of Gubei. His 2 kids went to private schools. His life was clearly middle class, or even higher. He said that before, just the private school fees for the 2 kids cost 700,000 to 800,000 yuan a year. The kids also took ice hockey and all kinds of interest classes. The family always had a nanny who had been with them for 8 years, since the day the first child was born. Later, the education and training industry got hit hard by the pandemic, the double reduction policy, and other things, and it fell fast. The company could not hold on. After he closed the company in 2024, he has not found a real job for more than a year. He sent out 200 or 300 resumes and got almost no replies. Teacher Yan said it very directly. "Because I am older now, nobody pays attention to me." The details that come next show what middle-class falling really means. To save money, the 2 kids moved from private school to public school. Ice hockey and all the extra classes basically stopped. The nanny who used to come 6 days a week and cost 18,000 yuan a month was first cut back and then let go completely. The 240 square meter house in Gubei is worth over 100,000 yuan per square meter on paper, so it looks like a lot of money. But the property fees are 7,000 or 8,000 yuan every 6 months, and he says they are behind on paying them now. He has also stopped paying social insurance for half a year. Teacher Yan said a sentence that is really worth remembering. Cash flow and assets are 2 different things. That one sentence explains the situation of many Chinese middle-class families in the last 2 years. On the surface, they live in good neighborhoods. Their houses are worth a lot, and their kids went to good schools. But as soon as income stops and cash flow gets tight, the whole way of life falls apart fast. You cannot easily sell the house. Assets cannot turn into cash right away. But every month, there are still property fees, school costs, daily living expenses, social insurance, and costs for old parents and kids, all real money that has to be paid. The cruelest part of this fall is that it is not going from rich back to normal life. It is going from still looks decent quickly down to every single yuan has to be counted twice. And this is not just one person's failure story. What is really breaking is the middle-class model that many city families in the last 10+ years used to keep a decent life. The job should be stable, income should keep growing, house prices should hold value, kids' education needs constant money, and the future should always look a little better than today. But now their jobs are not stable, house prices are falling, and sometimes even becoming negative assets. Business fails, spending goes down, social insurance stops, and even the chance to find a decent job again gets smaller. It is exactly in this background that when the government pushes the retire but not stop policy, it explodes on the internet and everyone is angry. Because it hits right on the most sensitive and painful nerve in Chinese society today. There are not enough jobs, but the competition is getting more and more fierce. Many comments online say it very plainly. Unemployed at 35, reemployed at 60. They don't want 40-year-olds, but want 60-year-olds to work. This world is split in such a ridiculous way. 3 generations all competing together. Please leave a way for middle-aged people to live. Right now, young people cannot find jobs either. Official numbers show that in June 2023, the youth unemployment rate once shot up to 21.3%. Then they simply stopped releasing the data. In 2024, they changed the way they count by taking out students and started publishing again. Even so, in February 2026, the youth unemployment rate was still as high as 16.1%. People outside think the real number is higher because some almost unemployed people are left out. At the same time, in 2026, there will be about 12.7 million college graduates, 48,000 more than last year. What does this mean? It means the problem in China today is not just some small mismatch of jobs. The whole pool of jobs is getting smaller. Young people are pushing in, middle-aged people are being pushed out, and old people are being pulled back into the market. This is not normal job competition anymore. It is three generations competing at the same time. And middle-aged people are the hardest layer in the middle. One blogger put it this way: on the left sits a 70-year-old who was brought back and does not need the 5 insurances and 1 fund. On the right sits a 20-year-old who has a fast brain and low pay. In the middle is the 40-something person who has experience but high cost and energy that cannot match the young. So, who does the company cut first? The answer is almost no question. So, when the government talks about fixing the labor shortage, many people do not believe it. A lot of people see clearly that the problem is not that there are no people. The problem is they need cheap, easy-to-use labor that lets them pay less social insurance. In the end, this retire but not stop is not really giving older people more choices in life. It is mostly finding a way out for the pressure on pensions and government money. To ease the pressure on social security, the Chinese leaders keep making policies that take away people's rights. In September 2024, the National People's Congress passed a plan to slowly delay retirement. Starting January 1st, 2025, it begins. Men's retirement age will slowly move from 60 to 63, and women's too. The minimum years you have to pay in will rise from 15 to 20. That means, while young people are unemployed and middle-aged people get fired, the retirement door is pushed back further, and old people are encouraged to go back to work. When you put all these things together, you see it is not separate news stories. It is one clear trend taking shape. The country is finding it harder and harder to take care of everyone's old age and living needs, so they are pushing more and more of the responsibility onto the shoulders of regular people. You have to find your own job, carry your own unemployment, carry the cost of kids' education, carry the worry about old age. And when you get old, it is best if you can still feed yourself and not add more burden to the government money. The deeper problem is that all this is happening at a time when moving upward in society is clearly getting harder. In the past, many people could bear it and keep going because they believe today is a bit hard, but tomorrow will be better. But now, even that hope is disappearing. A 39-year-old salesman in internet infrastructure called Benz said it very clearly. He came from the countryside, passed the college exam, got into a big internet company, got married, bought a house. He used to feel life was moving forward. But after he got laid off in 2023, he looked for work for 8 months before he found a job that paid only half of what he made before. His house value dropped by at least 1/4. His wife wants a second child, but he feels they cannot afford to raise one. He even thinks about stopping his daughter's dance classes. He said, "Before I always thought next year would be better. Now I only think about how to hold on to what I have and not let everything fall apart." That sentence is the exact feeling of a whole generation. From "I believe the future will be better" to "I just hope it does not fall any lower." This is not simple pessimism. It is a big change in how society thinks and feels. It means the hidden agreement that once supported so many Chinese people to work hard, not ask about politics, and push forward no matter the cost is breaking. The old unspoken deal was, if you work hard, if you obey, if you eat bitterness, life will go up and your kids will live better than you. But the problem now is you work hard and you may still lose your job. You obey and the company still fires you. You bite your teeth and hold on. But house prices fall, income drops, kids' education costs are still there, and the pressure of old age is already waiting in front. So, middle-aged unemployment and retire but not stop are not two separate topics. Together, they talk about the same reality. This society can no longer guarantee you a decent job, and it can no longer guarantee you a decent retirement. This is the most suffocating part. Harry Guo has started to accept it a bit. He says this is not just his personal problem. It is like the wave of state-owned factory layoffs in the 1990s. Only this time, it is their turn. Now he believes in one sentence: do your best and prepare for the worst. He also says when the Titanic is sinking, all you can do is try to sink with some dignity. Friends, if in a society 20-year-olds cannot find work, 40-year-olds cannot keep their work, and 60-year-olds are still told to keep working, then the problem is not that individuals are not trying hard enough. The problem is in the structure of the system itself. It is not that this generation of middle-aged people is no good. It is that the era that once promised hard work brings rewards is moving farther and farther away from them. That is the end of today's show. Welcome to Leave Your Thoughts. See you next time.